Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends, I hope the day finds you well, because we have gathered to talk about the anger that is boiling over in the Magic the Gathering community, specifically in regards to Magic the Gathering Arena. Things seem to have gone from bad to worse in that regard. Now, what we're going to be doing is going through this article that Wizards of the Coast has posted. I wanted to do a summary of it, and I made a bunch of notes to do so. However, because I'm still under the weather, my brain isn't connecting things as effectively as I would like it to. And there's some important points that I want to make in this video. So to do so, I'm going to use the article directly for reference. Now that that's out of the way, I'm just super tiny in the corner so you can see me here, but I also kind of look like death warmed over. So I figure, you know what, this is a good compromise. Now, in terms of the article, what we have up here at the top, this entire chunk at the beginning, this is just them going, hey, we weren't really responding to you or talking about what you wanted us to do, and now we are, all right? This next chunk here is them just going, hey, we want Arena to be a lot of fun and good times and whatever, right? It's all just a bunch of corporate whatever. So we move down into the actual Magic Arena Economy 101, because this has the items I want to address in it. First question, it says, what exactly do you mean when you say economy? And it says, when developing Magic Arena's economy and when judging the relative health of it, we look at all the ways players earn and spend the various resources they have at their disposal to grow their collection and play games. This includes the resources themselves, such as gold, gems, individual card rewards, packs, wildcards, and the ways in which those are earned, such as through quests, event rewards, daily and weekly wins, and yes, monetary transactions. The way they put "and yes, monetary transactions" almost feels like, you know what, we try to kind of like play that part down a lot, but we're going to acknowledge it here. It kind of sets the tone for what we're dealing with. So now next up we have, what are some of the overarching goals or the philosophy behind Magic Arena's economy? I mean, didn't we talk right up here where they talked about how they want it to be fast and fun? But anyways, first and foremost, we're looking to balance the needs of our various players, whether they are trying out Magic for the very first time or have been playing for decades. Most tend to fall somewhere in the days, months, and years between the two. As far as I understand it, the lifespan that Wizards of the Coast considers most Magic players to have is 1.5 to 2 years at most. So if you've wondered why sometimes they just push changes through, they know that once they do, the people coming into the game, that will be the new normal for them. So for example, anybody who started playing Magic in the last year, secret layers are a normal part of Magic to them. That's absolutely nothing new, right? So when they talk about how we want to make sure everybody's happy, I don't think that they really spend that much time worrying about people who've been playing the game for decades. I believe they pretty much consider us hooked and in their pocket. Now, that's just my opinion, obviously. Continuing, it says, next, we also try to encourage what we consider to be healthy play behaviors. We don't want players to feel like they must play 10 hours each day and complete all their daily wins to remain competitive. Our quests are based on playing, not winning, games of Magic, with once-a-day reroll option that lets player tailor their experience if one of the quests doesn't quite fit their preferred playstyle. Daily win rewards are front-loaded. Most of the rewards available on a day-to-day basis are earned in the first couple of wins to reinforce this commitment. It's funny, when I saw the phrase "to reinforce this commitment," I went, their commitment to what? Their commitment to healthy play behaviors? So the first thing they talk about when it comes to healthy play behaviors is you don't want people to feel like they have to play your game for long periods of time, feel like they have to play it every day, but yet the story of the game itself tells a completely different tale. You get what? One daily quest a day, correct? And when they go, you can tailor it to your experience. No, you get one random reroll. That's not really tailoring your experience. It's roll the dice and take a chance. But the reroll aspect is not really a major point of this. The real point I'm trying to drive at here is you have 15 daily rewards based on winning. You have one reward that requires you to play multiple games that will not give you rewards for winning. So out of the 16 rewards I can get in a day, 15 of those are for playing, and 15 14 of those will disappear the same day if I don't show up. So you're trying to tell me that you're not trying to force me to put a serious time commitment into it, and that I don't need to play daily because that could be considered unhealthy, and yet your entire reward system is based, not entirely, sorry, 1/16 of your daily reward system isn't actually based on playing daily. It's based on playing every 3 days. So straight out the gates, you can see how disingenuous they're being. We don't want you to be unhealthy, and that's why we give you 1 quest a day and 15 things you have to do every day. But hey, you only have to win the first, 5 or 6 games to get the reasonable chunk of rewards. I love that. It's like the rewards we give you later on are such a pittance that we can pretend that because we're giving reasonable rewards to start with in the day, that's us trying to keep you healthy. I mean, you have to give whoever wrote this credit for phrasing it in a way that multiple people are just going to go, that makes sense. I want you to understand something, because I've seen people go, why do Wizards of the Coast give these absurd justifications for things? The reason they do it is because humans are wired like this. If you tell me or ask me to do something and you give me no reason, now my brain has to put in that information or demand it from you. So I'm going to go, wait, why? Or my brain's going to have to spend the energy to think of it. But if you provide a reason, even if it's a worthless, ridiculous reason, that will overcome people's brain's desire to figure it out themselves and go, I don't have to spend the energy to do this. So essentially, it's a psychological trick that they're pulling, and it does work quite effectively. Now, let us continue, because there are a number of issues I want to discuss about this. This is really gross in a number of ways. And this part right here isn't where it starts to get really gross. Okay, so finally, we believe that opening packs should be fun and having a collection should be rewarding. You know what? Let's go ahead. I want this to be remembered, my friend. This is an important statement here. Finally, we believe that opening packs should be fun and having a collection should be rewarding. Magic is constantly evolving, and you never know when new cards are going to breathe life into previously released cards. Magic Arena offers a variety of events beyond the primary formats, often with deck building requirements or limitations that emphasize cards that may not have shown up in the traditional metagame. Having a collection lets players participate in these experiences and rewards general engagement in the economy. Now, I want you to understand what they're positioning you for. They want you to think that having a collection and not being able to break your cards down, to dust your cards and turn them into other cards, is the solution here. It's like, we don't want you to be left out in the cold for all these different formats. And it's like, okay, but couldn't I just dust the cards that I have to play in those formats? So I already have the resources I want to play in any format. And I can dust my cards, I can switch them back and forth and interchange. So understand that underneath here, what they're going to try and tell you is that you having all the cards and not being able to make your own choices is better for you. It's kind of incredible the way that they're positioning this. So for constructed play, our focus is on deck iteration over collecting every card in a set. As such, the economy is designed around building and growing specific decks over time. Remember that. They said the economy is designed around building and growing specific decks over time, because later on in the article, they're going to go, we actually have a solution to these problems you might be having. This is so dirty. Most players have a deck, color, or style preference, and we expect players just starting out to take their decks from the color challenge that appealed to them. And you know what, actually, I want to stop for a second and address this. Most players have a deck, color, or style preference. I want you to understand that with Arena, they have access to all the information about your play style and everything. They send you stats monthly telling you how many games you played, how much gold you accrued, and everything. They know what decks you're playing. They know what cards you're playing. We already know they mess with the starting hand algorithm to balance it out and make it a better experience. But we don't know what they do under the surface. We don't know if you open booster packs, are they actually secretly programmed to ensure that cards that are more likely to appeal to you are less likely to show up in the first packs so that you chase them. For example, I play a green tower deck. So wouldn't it be in Arena's best interest to tweak the numbers just enough that it's hard to see? If you sit there and stare at the screen, you're not really going to see it. But ultimately, if you were to break down the math and go, wait a minute, statistically, I'm actually getting less green cards than I should, even accounting for randomness. Now, I'm not stating that they're doing it. I'm saying that it's a possibility and that you have to be aware that there's all these underlying things they can do to make your overall situation worse. And these are like the under the hood stuff you don't see. We're going to talk about the changes that they've made that we can see as well. All right, now, like it says, most players have a deck color or style preference. We expect players just starting out to take decks from the color challenge that appeal to them and evolve them before moving on to experimenting with deck builds of their own or searching for additional deck ideas from the community. I mean, I understand what they're saying here. Yes, somebody who's just started Arena, if they don't know Magic at all, they probably are going to start with their color challenge deck and make a few tweaks or just use one of the original starter decks, right? Now, it says after this, simply playing every few days and completing quests will provide a steady stream of currency and packs players can use to grow their collection while still having reasonable decks starting out. Reasonable decks. This is actually completely unreasonable. None of the decks they provide you at the beginning are anything close to reasonable. They're not even close to challenger decks, and challenger decks aren't competitive. So to try and pretend that a player getting in, it's like, you know what, that's all you need. No, they're gonna get raffle stomped. Like, do you think that the play area is just full of people who are like, you know what, I'm gonna make sure that I'm playing a deck that belongs to the player? No, there's people who are playing hardcore decks who want their wins just stomping people. And I've gone into that play queue many a time with the pre-constructed decks. And while Wizards of the Coast goes, we do our best to match them up against each other, I've been stomped by top tier decks using those straight up precons again and again. And I'm sorry, but oh wow, I played for every couple of days and I got 1,000 gold. I opened 3 booster packs and one of them had a rare that went in my deck. I totally have a reasonable deck. The whole, oh, you can get everything you need, it's an absurd position to have. So, it says, we expect this behavior to continue for our more advanced players, those who have grown as players in Magic Arena or are as joining as veteran Magic players. But by virtue of their experience, we expect them to have an even better understanding of what they're looking to build and have more specific card needs. We expect these players to rely more on crafting over the organic process of opening packs, so they know that everybody's going to end up crafting, and yet they've put the wild card you craft with behind this gate of buying boosters intentionally. And we've reached a situation where Arena is flagging enough where they're like, we've got to try and reset this, and we'll get to it. It's mind-blowing. This is a long one. Bear with me, my friends, but I've got a lot to say on this. It's genuinely frustrating, and it's something that I feel like if I just leave it and don't say anything, then people may not realize, yo, you need to hold back and not be tossing too much money or any money at Arena for a while until things get straightened out, right? So, this is them admitting, we know that you need to craft cards. We know it. So it says, both scenarios assume that players who don't want to spend money will earn cards and make those changes over the course of a release season as they complete quests, unlock levels on the mastery system, participate in events, and just generally play. They will, however, need to have resources either saved from previous rewards or purchased from the store if they want to accelerate that process. So what does that even mean? It's like if you go, okay, it starts out by saying players who don't want to spend money will earn cards and make changes to the deck over the course of a release season, unlocking in the Mastery Pass, playing in events, and playing, right? But it's like they will, however, need to have saved from previous rewards. So what you're saying is they can be competitive and have reasonable decks because they're going to get to add to their deck throughout the course of a season. But to be able to accelerate the process, they'll have to have extra resources that aren't available to them because they've already used the resources from playing. So literally the only way to accelerate is to spend money. Like it's... With our focus on deck iterations, we do know that players who are completionists, players who wish to collect every card available, may find collecting sets harder. In practice, we know this is a relatively small segment, but it's something we want to support. This is maddening to me. And we're discussing ways to improve that process for players who are looking to round out sets. For instance, we'll soon be launching a Mythic booster pack available for 1,300 gold that ensures the card in the rare or Mythic rare slot is always a Mythic rare, unless it's replaced by a wild card. This should help collectors who are rare complete, but are still missing rare Mythic cards. Now this is genius in a way, because it actually looks like they're doing something nice, but it exposes something really scummy about Arena, and I don't think they realize how obvious it is to those of us who are paying attention. Take a look at this scenario. So, I can buy a booster pack where I'm guaranteed to get a mythic rare or a mythic rare wildcard. Okay, and I can buy a regular booster pack where I can get a rare or a mythic rare wildcard. Why, for the exact same price as a regular booster pack, can I not just purchase a pack where I'm guaranteed a rare or a where I'm guaranteed a rare or a rare wildcard? So, there can't be a mythic rare, there cannot be a mythic rare wildcard in the booster pack. I'm guaranteed a rare from the set, or I'm guaranteed a rare wildcard. Why don't we have that option? It's interesting how that's missing, and I'll tell you why it is. Because on Arena, mythic rares are less valuable than rares. If you want to build a deck on Arena and actually be genuinely competitive, you are probably going to need something in the range of 30 to 40 rares, depending on your mana base, right? The rare lands that you need to play multicolored decks are one of the biggest choke points in Arena, and mythic rare wildcards aren't worth nearly as much as regular rare wildcards. So by buying mythic rare packs, you are essentially hosing yourself out of the opportunity of getting the more valuable cards, right? The wildcards. Wizards of the Coast knows this, so they won't give you an option where you can just straight up get a rare or a rare wildcard. 1 out of every 8 packs is gonna have a mythic rare wildcard or a mythic rare to actually deny you those rares. It's kind of genius and insidious, but the fact that they're not making a straight up buy a rare booster pack is a great indicator that they know, and it's absolutely intentional. Next up, it says, we know this structure is not ideal for players who are deck brewers or who like to build many decks in reaction to the metagame. And if you guys didn't know who that is, that's basically all the people. If you go back, where was it? Somewhere earlier in here, they say that as players evolve, that's what they turn into, right? Like basically, it's like by virtue of the experience, we expect them to have better understanding what they're looking to build and have more specific card needs. And we expect those players to rely more on crafting over the organic process of opening packs. So they're talking about basically everybody who plays Arena. So they're saying, in addition, we know this structure is not ideal for players who are deck brewers who would like to build many decks in reaction to the metagame, as experimentation is more difficult in our current system. While there may be some overlap with the completionists, we're also evaluating some options that will improve the ability for explorers to try decks without the full commitment of collecting, crafting all the cards up front. I like how they recognize you have to commit yourself to collecting and crafting all the cards, but at the same time, they're going to try and pretend like you getting to dust and like break your cards down for other cards is a bad thing. Wait until we get to it. The language they choose is incredible. So, how do limited events draft sealed factor into this? Limited's primary goal is to have fun with cards from a given Magic expansion. That fun can be building a deck from a limited selection of cards, proving your skill at reading packs and draft, or even just experience cards in a way that's more engaging than opening packs. Because opening packs isn't as fun as they're trying to say. Especially on Arena. Opening packs and physical Magic, way better. Since we value collections, ensuring players keep cards they open outside of special experiences like Cube is important. It's so funny to be like, it's really important that you guys keep the cards, except when we would give you too much value for your resources. Then it's important for you not to keep the cards. But the events are also designed to be rewarding if all you want is to play experience. Wow, really? You mean it's supposed to just be fun playing Magic? This gives them extra weight in the economy. Because the game is fun, because it's fun to draft, it gives them extra weight in the economy. We're aware of this, and we'll be looking to adjust constructed event structures to be more in line with their limited counterparts. I wouldn't be surprised if they made changes to limited to make it worse, and then we've boosted constructed up to get it there. Like, they already went, wait, we gotta stop having bot drafts constantly because people are using those to build their collections too effectively. So we need, instead of having a bot draft of the set available the entire time the set's out, we need to just go 2 weeks here, whatever. Like, they do all these skeezy things while they go, we value having a collection. We value putting up roadblocks and making things more difficult for you. This is the only part of Magic that really functions like mobile gaming, where they're trying to frustrate you into giving them more money. It's amazing. Player collections. If the constructed play economy is centered around deck iteration, why can't we dust our collection? Exactly. If the entire economy is based around the fact that we want to make changes to our deck, why can't we take the cards we can't use or don't want to use and convert them? And I want you to bear in mind as we go through this, there are cards on Arena that there are 5 or 6 different copies of. Cards like Opt. I have 4 copies of Opt in 4 or 5 different printings. How is that useful to me? It's not. If I could take those and turn them into, if I could take 10 commons and turn it into another common, all of a sudden those would have value. But they don't want you doing that because they know the majority of cards they make in a set you won't make. So they have to pretend, look, guys, you never know what format's going to come up, and one card could be really good. So you got to keep thousands and thousands of worthless cards, because if you could swap those around, you'd only use the good cards that we make, and we'd be forced to give you more playable stuff. No, we can't do that, right? So, anyways, for the uninitiated, dusting in digital collectible card games refers to a player's ability to remove unwanted cards from their collection. They put unwanted in quotations. They put unwanted in quotations to pretend like it could. I didn't notice that before. They put unwanted in quotations to pretend like there is nobody who has unwanted cards in their Magic. Everybody who has 12 copies of Opt wants them all. That's amazing. So it says remove unwanted cards from their collection, and in doing so, acquire a resource that can be used to collect the cards or cards they do want. Sounds pretty awesome, doesn't it? Magic Arena is built on the belief that players keep the cards they open and earn. No, it's forced. Look, we're built on the belief that players will keep the cards. You don't give us any other option. We built this on the belief that players keep the cards they open and earn. We know that decks and strategies come and go all the time, which can shift both the desirability and power of any given card. Any given card. You know what, boys? That one white and 4 mana for a 3/5 vanilla, there could be a format shift where any card could skyrocket to the top. Every little vanilla donk, from common, standard, whatever, could be the most important thing. And if we let you dust, what if you turned that little vanilla guy into dust? You might have to dust other cards to get it right back like that. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing. This variation is part of what makes Magic special. We never wanted players to feel pressured to dismantle their collection and build the deck they want, only later to be disappointed when they realize they need to reacquire the cards they destroyed. I love this. We did this because we didn't want players to feel pressured. Okay, so by giving people the option, it's like if I give you a trash can and go, this is a can you can throw unwanted things into. If you've got garbage on your desk, whatever, you can throw trash into this can. And then I go, the reason I didn't give you a trash can, I didn't want you to feel pressured to throw anything out. So I know your desk is covered in dirty tissues and garbage, but here's the thing. If I put a trash can there, you're pressured. Do you feel that pressure on you, man? Like pressured to get rid of your unwanted cards? Oh my God. It's so good. And then it gets better. It gets better. Listen to this part. In addition, dusting changes the tenor of conversations around the game. Instead of what should I build conversations, you get what should I destroy conversations, which are inherently more negative. I love it. I love it. We can't do it this way, guys, because if you talk about destroying cards, it's inherently negative. But that's framing the conversation in a light that it wouldn't happen. Here's how it would go if dusting works. People go, whoa, there's a new standard deck? Okay, what cards do I need to acquire for it? These are the cards I want. And then they would just go in and pick a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter to them and dust it. There would be no conversation of going, what do I want to give up? Oh, I feel pressured to get rid of cards. It would just be, whoa, I can just get whatever I want. And if I don't like it, I actually have the ability to shift into other things by taking the resources I just got and converting them again. So I absolutely adore this phrasing. It changes the tenor of conversations around the game. Instead of what should I build conversations, you get what should I destroy conversations. Honestly, this is beautiful marketing because people will buy this garbage. People will hear it and go, destroying stuff is negative. I'm glad you do have a positive attitude about this. And it's all you're being gaslit, boys. Knowing, however, that opening packs in the hope of getting the cards you want places a ton of weight on what you happen to open, our dust was added to another part of Magic Arena that is fun and reinforces collecting. Opening packs. Oh yeah, opening packs on Arena is a lot of fun. Do you know how fun it is? they put a shortcut button in there. They put a shortcut button so you can open 10 packs at once. Have you ever been having so much fun that you're like, I wish I could accelerate all this fun, cram it into 10 times as fast, and make it over way quicker? Oh no. Maybe it's because opening packs on Arena actually isn't fun. Making a little bit of a crinkle and having the stuff jump up on the screen, it actually doesn't fire your brain off the same way as physical packs do. Sorry, there is a certain level of fun, obviously, of getting new cards for your like your account. I'm not trying to say there's no joy in opening boosters, but they're trying to play it off like it's this massive thing. So, every Magic Arena Store pack you open not only includes the cards inside, it has the possibility to reward a rare or mythic rare wildcard that moves you towards a guaranteed rare or mythic rare wildcard. This combined with duplicate protection, and their duplicate protection is iffy. I love how they're like, oh, we can do duplicate protection here, but we can't do it here. And it's like, you can. You just don't want to. That's what this all boils down to. Everything they say to it is, no, we want to get more money from you. No, we have to do this because we think we'll get more money from you. No, oh, the play experience is the most important thing. Except, no, it's totally not, right? It's wild. So, I love this part too. This combined with duplicate protection ensures that there's always a finite number of packs you need to open before you collect the card you're after without having to liquidate your collection in the process. There's always a finite number of packs. 1,000 is a finite number of packs. 5,000 is a finite number of packs. So it's amazing, you know what, because of this system, you don't have to open infinite packs to get an uninfinite amount of things. And it's like, okay, this is a selling. What are you doing? What are you doing? None of this includes the vault. The vault is another slap in the face. That was something they were supposed to figure out how to help people with their duplicate protection and whatever. And they went, oh, we're being too generous with it. And then just went, you know what? Make them get 1 billion cards and give them a wild card. It's like, what do you get? 1 mythic rare wild card, 2 rares, and 3 on call. Woo! Thanks, Wizards. Thanks for having my back. So ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Will we ever be able to exchange lower rarity common and uncommon wildcards for a rare mythic rare one? There are currently no plans to support this. This may as well just say no. There's absolutely no chance this is going to happen. Do you know why? Because then you'd be able to get the cards you want. The last thing they want is for you to get rare wildcards easily. Keeping rare wildcards out of your hand is the most important thing for Arena to do to make money from Wizards of the Coast perspective. Instead of looking to create a platform where we would all have fun and would give money because we felt joyful. Like, I never give money to companies that are trying to strong arm me. Are you trying to frustrate me? Are you trying to make it harder to get the resources I need? Then you won't get a penny from me. But I have gone to games that I wouldn't have given a penny to in the first place to start playing. But because the experience was so good, literally, Minecraft service, just owned by some random dude. Dude did such a good job that I gave him $40 to buy a special package for the Minecraft server because I was having such an awesome time. And $40 is a crazy amount of money. I could have bought multiple games with that. The same thing goes for Arena. If I was having a banger time with it and I felt like I wasn't trying to be manipulated, taken advantage of, I would put money into it. But because of the way they do things, I'm like, you're never getting a penny from me for Arena. And I hope that people stay away for a couple of months, don't give them anything for what we're going to get into next, because it's crazy. Okay, but forget everything else. I just want to buy rare mythic rare wildcards so I can finish this deck. And here's the ugliness. While this is currently possible just by buying packs, we're aware the process feels inefficient. With the release of Streets of New Capenna, you'll be able to purchase a wild card bundle for $49.99. $50 pretty much. That contains 12 rares and 4 mythic rare wildcards as a simple way to get the wildcards you need to finish off your current deck or kickstart your next deck. Sorry about that. As with many new features or products, this new bundle will start as a limited time offering for about 6 weeks. After that period, we'll evaluate engagement and go from there. They're basically saying, if we can get you suckers to pay this price, this will be the price. Now understand just how skeezy this is. For $50, you get a welcome bundle with 50 packs, but even, let's say, we're not taking any deals like that into account. You just go to the store and you're like, yo, I'm going to spend $50 on gems. The amount of gems that you can get for $50 is a little over 9,000 gems. You're going to get roughly about 45, 46 booster packs for those gems. by opening those 46 booster packs, you are going to get probably anywhere from like 6 to 9 rare wild cards and 2 or 3 mythic rare wild cards, right? Like there's some variance to it, but you're going to get a big chunk of wild cards. So for this, you're literally going, I don't get any of the other cards from any of the packs, and now, like, think about it. You get 46 packs worth of rares, uncommons, commons, and then anywhere from like 8 to 12 wild cards, or you can pay $50 straight up for 16 wild cards. Like, this is absolutely nutty. And Arena's already so predatory that people are going to see this as a deal. When we were talking about this a few days ago in a live stream, there were multiple people who said, I spent thousands of dollars on Arena. I'm not spending any more money. I remember spending hundreds of dollars trying to get a few wild cards. So to me, this like reads like Wizards of the Coast is going full next level mobile game with it. Just, okay, we literally have to try and sell them wild cards directly now because our old greedy system of trying to milk them isn't working. Let's see if they'll buy wild cards directly. Because remember, everything they were doing, trying to keep wild cards from you, trying to make sure you can only get what you need through handing over cash. It's absolutely insane. This is so scuzzy and scammy, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Tabletop and digital play. Does Magic Arena take into consideration players who collect cards for both tabletop and digital play when making economy decisions? Of course not. Of course not. You know what I mean? You go through that. It's like, we support a play-free path. We hope anyone who wants a play anytime, anywhere experience can hop on Arena and have fun. I mean, that's obvious, right? Why should I play Magic Arena versus tabletop with physical product? Like this, whatever. Here we go. Why alchemy? This is the last thing. Like these two things, whatever. It doesn't matter. But why alchemy? Why not Pioneer or Commander or any of the other tabletop formats? First, as we continually look to provide experiences for all player types, we found that there are players who want a format that's able to grow and shift at a pace that matches the speed of digital consumption. Alchemy provides an experience for those players, as was shown by the recent Neon Dynasty Championship winning Orzhov Venture deck piloted by Eli Casis. I want to say something here. They are saying that Alchemy is a good format that is in demand because the pro players that they forced to play with it, one of them won a tournament. Somebody would, no matter who won the tournament, they would have won in an alchemy tournament because you forced them to play in an alchemy tournament. That doesn't make the format good. The fact that somebody won a tournament with an alchemy deck is irrelevant when you make the event alchemy only. Every deck in the event is alchemy only. There's no non-alchemy decks in the event. Even if you're not playing with any alchemy cards in your deck, you're in the alchemy environment. It's so disingenuous to try and pretend like, you know what, check it out. The winning of the Neon Dynasty Championship was playing alchemy. Yeah, because you made them. You made them. You talk about don't want to make people feel pressured. You don't want to make people feel pressured, and you take away historic. Historic, the non-rotating format that people hold on, before I do my historic rant, let's just finish this because it's all tying in. Second, historic was able to carve out an identity of its own that filled the basic need for a non-rotating format on Magic Arena. I like how they'll say now it's a basic need where they fought us on it forever. Coupled with the fact that there's still 5 years worth of sets to get to Pioneer, we shifted priority to something we'd be able to act on more quickly. We don't think we're going to make money from Pioneer. We don't want you to have a non-rotating stable format. We don't want that. It says, finally, Commander and other formats require even more effort than Pioneer. While we'd love to find a solution for multiplayer on Arena, there's some technical hurdles. See, now that one, I actually completely get. They can't get the cards to function. Like, they can't get Arena to function smoothly with 2 people. And now you want to do it with 4? Get out! It's not even going to happen, right? So, that said, we know the introduction of alchemy and the inclusion of alchemy cards in Historic has pushed that format further away from tabletop than some players would like. As a result, we'll be adding a non-rotating format that exclusively consists of cards available in tabletop. This will give us the symmetry between our live and print formats, with each having a rotating and non-rotating variant. More news on this format as we get closer to its launch. So, people wanted Historic. People said to Wizards, look, what you're doing is scuzzy. Like, they started out with Arena and they were like, hey, everything in Arena is in Standard, so we got no problem. And then they got to the point where sets were starting to rotate out of Standard, and they were just like, you can use them in direct challenges with your friends, and that's it. They had no intentions of making an older format for people to play with these older cards because they wanted you to stay running in the standard box, constantly buying stuff from them, constantly being forced into rotation. They don't want a non-rotating format because non-rotating essentially means Wizards can't meddle with it the same way. So basically, people are like, bro, we're not going to play Arena unless you do something about this. And so there was enough pressure put on them that they went, okay, we're going to create Historic, but to make Historic more fun, we're going to have to charge you 2 wild cards for every card you get. And it's like, say what now? And people were like, no. And then they went, okay, well, guess we'll just do 1-to-1. These are older cards for an older format that it isn't treated better than the standard. It should have been cheaper. But regardless, they had to be drilled down to a 1-to-1. And then Historic gets put in, and I wouldn't be surprised if right when Historic actually got established, they went, we are going to get rid of this. And that's what they did. They went, we're going to bring alchemy in. We're going to try and copy Hearthstone and we want to take games like Hearthstone and whatever, and we want to take these aspects from your game. But that dusting system, destruction, gross. Giving people choices and options, gross. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys heard this, but I was told that on the actual stream that they did talking about this, they said the reason they didn't want to give people the ability to turn their common and uncommon wildcards into higher level wildcards is because they didn't want people to make that change and then realize there were commons or uncommons they wanted and not be able to get them. It's totally like, oh, so let me get this straight. By adding an option to these, I can use this to get a common, or I can use a number of these to get a rare. You're afraid I won't be able to get a common? Like, I can't figure out how to exercise my own options? It's absurd, right? So they go, we're making alchemy cards, and we're going to change it up so standard can be whatever, but also we're pushing them into Historic, and Historic is now it's a non-rotating format, but we can change the cards on a whim. Did you spend a bunch of wild cards? Hey, spend $50. Buy 16 wild cards. Get those cards. Oh, did they change? No refund. Can't play them anymore? Well, don't talk about getting rid of them because you know what? That's an inherently destructive conversation. And you don't want to be an inherently destructive guy, do you? You know, it's that kind of thing. So when they say they're going to have a non-rotating format that matches both physical and digital, I wouldn't be surprised if they made up a garbage format for Arena and then forced it into physical and be like, yo, what's up? We just brought pickle tickling into Arena and now we have the official pickle tickling format and paper and nobody picks up pickle tickling and paper and it's just an Arena format and they go, it's a non-rotating format that's parallel. And then 2 years later, actually, you know what? We're now doing tickle pickle alchemy because it's just, that's what the people want. The fact that they're acknowledging at the bottom that some players would like things differently, they wouldn't even bring that up if there wasn't a massive outcry. People are massively angry about alchemy, and Wizards could have made alchemy work if they didn't force it into Historic. But they can't help themselves. They're so greedy. They know best. Don't get pressured into dusting your cards, little guys, because you're not adults. Anyhow, that's enough ranting from one sick man. Sorry I went over long, and I'm sure you can hear the sickness in me. Thanks for coming by. If you are hardcore enough that you made it all the way through this video, kudos. Tell me in the comments. Those are the only comments that I'm going to heart today, are the people who have said, I made it all the way through. Endurance run! Anyhow, I am sweating and dying. I need to lay down. So I will see you later, my friends. Big shout out to all my patrons. And I posted a funny picture over on Instagram. I'll leave a link down if you want to check it out. Peace out for now.